TikTok generation is changing trading faster than brokers realize.
Hero, icons was the guys from, I don't know, like the Wall Street movie, let's say the Charlie Sheen. We went from the industry which were aiming towards professionals to the industry which aims mass market in a good sense. And NFP starts to draw those candles like bam, bam, bam. And the people are screaming. He's like, wow, I made the money. Here's the thing, Cardi B brought you to trading.
Coke all day long.
There is not necessarily you need to spend like that much time. Trading is not quantum mechanics. It's not a quantum physics. You don't have to spend like 5 years by learning on that.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another exclusive interview on FinanceFeeds. My name is Nikolai Isaev. I'm editor-in-chief of FinanceFeed. Joining me today is Vitalii Bulynin, who is co-founder and CEO of Versus Trade. Vitalii, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Nikolai. Nice meeting you. And thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. I'm glad to talk to you on this lovely Friday afternoon in sunny Limassol. I hope you've had a great week.
Oh, it was really cool one. And as usual, thanks God it's Friday.
Yeah.
Looking for weekends ahead.
TGIF, as they say.
True.
So today's topic, I think, is it's sort of an all-encompassing topic. I think it's something that's very important to our audience and to you as well. I think we wanted to title it, "The TikTok generation is changing trading faster than brokers realize." And I think you obviously agree with that. I agree with that. I wanted to ask you sort of personally, in terms of your own industry experience, what do you think are the main changes in the brokerage industry that have happened with respect to like the younger generation of traders? As compared to, let's say, 10, 15 years ago when we were all, chasing, let's say, maybe different client set and focused on different asset classes.
Thank you for the question. It's indeed very interesting what we are being witnesses of all those changes. And I do believe that the answer, your question has the answer itself, inside. The younger generation, this is what happens. Before 10, 15 years ago, especially 15 years ago, it was mostly people who are oldish, a bit older, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And that was bringing their respective mindset to the market. And that was bringing the respective profile of the clients, which brokers were trying to acquire of.
Mm-hmm.
And now these younger people, they want to get things faster. They want to get the results faster. And they treat the whole industry, which you and me has been part of 10 plus years, rather than a job, they treat it more as an experience or as fun. If I should be sorry for that. The main change I would say is those people, young people, they came and they bring totally, they change the game rules totally.
I completely agree with you. A word like gamification comes to mind.
Yeah.
That's something that regulators like to talk about, especially in the UK and things. It seems to me besides the fact that they're focused on kind of what's hip or what's in the news or something like that, or trends, they're also I think we'll get into this deeper when it comes to trading platforms and mobile apps. They're becoming such easy to use interfaces that when you look at what they looked like 10, 15 years ago, they were very rigid and they were sort of focused on, like you had mentioned, it's a different demographic now. On the one hand, they're younger, but in terms of perceptions, for me, 10, 15 years ago, it was a suit and tie kind of guy that traded Forex and CFDs. And today it's someone who's a little bit more hip, somebody who's just wearing a t-shirt and some jeans, or whatever they want to wear, right? At the end of the day. And it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't have to be rigid. It doesn't have to be so, I don't know, complex. It should be easy and trendy and kind of easy to use and very quick, as you said, because their attention spans, the younger generations, their attention spans are a lot shorter than, let's say, ours are, I would say.
When I was joining the industry, our hero, icons was the guys from, I don't know, like the Wall Street movie, let's say the Charlie Sheen. You remember how they were looking? The
Yeah, yeah,
golden
yeah, yeah.
gecko,
Of course. Yeah,
this
yeah.
white collar things,
Yeah.
money never sleeps and things like that. They're wearing like triple three type shoes, suits, sorry, and like now guys they're relaxed. They're like in their hoodies, wearing Crocs, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the new audience. And talking of the software and the tools, like it's like a totally different story. It's like black and white thing. Like back then, it was, I don't know, like CQG things. I
Mm-hmm.
can bring those, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you should have your own platform for analytic tools. It should be like different platform, like Wealth Lab or whatever that platform. And when you want to open a trade, you should go to the different software like
Yeah,
CQG,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
you place a trade there. Try to explain it to younger guys now
Right.
when they do all these things with just their tap.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we went from the industry which were aiming towards professionals to the industry which aims, like, I mean, mass market in a good sense
Yeah, yeah.
of this word.
Mm-hmm.
That's the change.
Yeah, it's like all inclusive basically. It's for
Absolutely.
everybody, right? So you spent around 20 years in the trading industry, fintech industry, Forex industry, whatever you
Stop
want to call it. Oh, come on. We all have, right? We're all we're not Zoomers.
Yeah.
When did you first realize that like there's going to be this new
Mhm.
generation of traders that's going to come about, and when did you realize that they're going to behave fundamentally different from traders that we've seen before?
My mind was pretty much like in its own box till, I would say, till the crypto thing appears.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking about not even early adoption of the crypto, but like 2017, 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Up until then, I was thinking and I was having this industry in my mind as an industry for professionals, like trading platform. You need to have it like, like a pilot dashboard, things like that.
Okay.
And I was treating the clients the same way. But when I start to realize, I still remember my first experience, my first impression when I figured out the website Coin Market Cap, when
Oh
all
yeah.
those, like
Mm-hmm.
a very big table with all the Bitcoin
Yeah.
things, coins going around. And I realized like they do trading like this, which is more like user friendly. So the first thing was, I would say there was like 3 points which like totally changed my mind. First was this crypto thing, when I
Mm-hmm.
realized that trading is not, as you mentioned, some institutional thing where we just allow those small guys to come and do something.
Mm-hmm.
No, not at all.
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing was when I realized that trading as an activity became like streamable. It was
Mm-hmm.
something what people likes to stream,
Mm-hmm.
like Twitch or TikTok,
Yeah.
where usually you go and you check like somebody's playing like Dota or Counter-Strike or things like that,
Mm-hmm.
or FIFA, which is like, okay, they're having good time, they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
And now apparently you see the same stream with the same number of viewers checking how guy is trading.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wow, that's something which like but nobody expect that.
Mm-hmm.
And the third thing, when I start to check, okay, how do they trade? Okay, how do they trade? What could be so cool about trading that people will go and willing to spend their Friday nights or something to
Mm-hmm.
be to, where is this engagement part?
Yeah.
And I've checked how did they start to trade, and it was the third thing, like totally different. They were trading like a full margin trading, where they just deposit like a small amount of money to the trading account. I don't know, like $50 or $100,
Mm-hmm.
and they trade on this full margin on NFP or on some news where it's just all in or
Uh-huh.
all out.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Go hard or go home.
Yeah, yeah.
So they were treating the very system not as like a institutional wise, professional, super cool approach. They were
Mm-hmm.
treating rather than as a single hand, that machine.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
just put the trade and you see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, I start to realize, okay, there is an engagement, there is a tension, there is a suspense. So the guy plays the trade and he's waiting for NFP, and NFP starts to draw those candles like
Yeah.
bam, bam, bam. And the people are screaming. He's like, wow, I made the money. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, there is no way back from this.
Right. It kind of breaks the system, right? The old school system
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
sense,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Because I mean, yeah, looking at a chart with MACD and RSI and Fibonacci is kind of boring,
Or good.
right? At the end of the day. And I think, you know what also comes to mind? Remember the GameStop
Oh
situation?
yes.
With obviously it's not Forex or CFDs, but
But
it was
still.
equities markets. And
Yeah.
so it's the common sort of
Like the Reddit dudes, they went and they break the market.
yeah, it's like a regular Joes, as they call them in America. Regular Joes went and sort of basically beat the house, if you want to call it that, or beat the big guy, right? The big institutional funds and things like that. If you even watch, there's a movie out there. If somebody's interested, you could watch that. So they kind of broke the old school narrative of suit and tie Wall Street guy who's like, yeah, I trade Aussie versus Kiwi or something like that to like
and I
just
have
basically
spent 12 years studying, and here is my CFA, and like I've been, I don't know, intern in McKinsey or things like that. No,
yeah, and
nothing like that.
yeah, and don't get us wrong. I mean, we're not
No.
hating on anybody. Those people are still important. There's lots of volume in institutional flow
Yeah.
in the industry and things
But
like
we're
that.
in the retail business.
But in today's world, that's basically who that's a very important share of the market, and that's the future of our market. My next question, I don't even think it should be formulated as a question. I think we can both agree that modern traders today, they're becoming more driven by narratives, trends, comparisons. They go and seek out information that the older generation traders don't. The older generation traders, again, they would do technical analysis. They would read like very heavy analytics and things like that. These people, the younger generations, they're on TikTok, as we said. They're on social media. They get their news from different sources, not the ones that other generations do. And those sources tend to produce information very, very quickly. Something happens, 3, 4, 5 minutes later, it's already out there, right? So the time to market is a lot quicker than it was before. And like you were saying, you know, a young guy could be like $100, let's say, in the account, and it goes full tilt on NFP because, again, he's looking at information that he may have even gotten off of social media, off of YouTube, Facebook, whatever it is. And he's like, yeah, my gut tells me that I think NFP is going to be strong this month. So I'm going to, whatever. I'm going to go long whatever asset I think I think is best. How do you think that's changing the types of products that brokers, let's say, I'm sure there's brokers that are focusing on this in terms of asset classes, and there are other ones that are probably sort of being left in the dust in a sense, who are more traditional and are like, yeah, well, no, we're not going to change. Like the Forex and CFD business market is always going to be like this. And the brokers, let's say at the front of the pack, are the ones who are like, okay, let's sit down, let's think about this. Maybe our platform and our user face and our front end is great. How do we make them trade more, and from a asset class perspective or specific product perspective, and kind of how does that tie into, let's say, what you guys are doing at Versus Trade?
Yeah, that's very true. I can relate to that. And I think nowadays we're trying to provide the products which has more volatility inside, which has more. We're trying to, in some sort of sense, like to rule the content. I like the, if I may, if you allow me, like before, as you mentioned, there is a very cool thing, like a parallel to the television. Before, long time ago, there was just like you have your remote and there is like 4 buttons on it. So you switch first, second, third, fourth. Nothing there. Nothing is happening on the market. But people were just going and checking. What are you with euro dollar? Oh, nothing there. What's with gold? Oh, nothing there. And now we have these streamings where it's pretty much every time there is something for you to watch. Like either it's Netflix or YouTube or, I don't know, HBO Prime. So there was a transition from like just giving the medium or a platform to the way where, okay, we have a platform. The users, they will don't just stay on our platform. We need to start to creating content there. Like the Netflix, they start to do movies because they realize, okay, we have a market share. And when all the movies library which we have has been seen, like, what are they going to do? Let's give them some movies made by ourselves.
Yep.
It's the very same here in the brokerage. So we do have euro dollar, we do have gold where we can flock our clients to trade, but
Yeah.
then we do not control the game. We do not control the process, again, in a good way, right?
Yeah.
So we thought and we said to ourselves, what if we create something where we can basically provide the customer, the end user, the client, with something which they very want. The activity on the market, the higher level of volatility, the more funnier experience to trade with. So I think this is the future. If a brokerage company wants to get modern people, which are driven by the narrative, by trend, by something which came up not from the market, but somewhere aside, then the question is, are you able to somehow land it on the market, to allocate it towards the market or towards the instruments and give it to your audience? If you can do it, then good for you.
That's a pretty cool one. The way
Analogy or how
to,
you
yeah, not analogy, but a pretty cool explanation. Yeah, you're right, especially with the Netflix thing and kind of like, okay, there's a certain hype and certain trends out there. Again, we're talking about social trends, we're talking about music, culture, fashion,
Yeah.
but it all now ties into geopolitics, economics, and things. It's all intertwined, I think, right? So like the Met Gala took place in New York, is this thing that happens every year, right? But afterwards, all these media publications are talking about who was dressed how,
Yeah.
and
Jeff
who said,
Bezos sponsoring
yeah,
it.
and right, and Jeff Bezos sponsoring it and stuff like that. Again, who's Jeff Bezos? Amazon, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you can tie all of these things together, and I think, okay, Bezos is in the news. Like for me, psychologically, I would be like Bezos, Amazon. If I have a trading account or an investment account, whatever you want to call it, depending on which app or which platform I have on my phone, I might be like, let me go check out Amazon stock. Like, what's going on with that company anyway, right? Or maybe maybe I already have positions in Amazon, just like passive stuff, you know?
After checking a Cardi B suit, you go and like, here's the thing, Cardi B brought you to trading.
Because I think you will agree with me, besides like the young guy or the young girl, again, we're not discriminating, everybody trades these days, who like goes full tilt on NFP. I know lots of like personal friends who they just like passively invest. Because again, outside of your traditional Forex CFD brokerages and platforms, you have companies like Revolut and everybody else or others who are trying to build what we're calling super apps. I know it's a catchphrase and clickbait or whatever you want to call it, but super apps. And I know people that like passively invest. Like they'll come to me, they'll be like, Nick, check it out. I have like small position in this, Netflix, gold. I have Amazon. I have this. And they're like, what do you think I should do? And I'm like, I don't trade, but I'll give you my advice if you want it, but I don't trade. But again, right, they're like passively investing. And would you agree that like those kind of young people who are passively investing, this is also important in that sense? Because again, like they see the stuff on the news, psychologically, I'm sure they can connect the dots in their head. You know, and they're like, okay, interesting. What does that mean? Maybe Amazon is gonna appreciate or tank, depending on what's going on with both Bezos as a person, right? Because there's so much hype and sensitivity around that, right? He's a multi-billionaire,
figure, right? Yeah,
right. He's a figure like that. But then with respect to their actual investments too,
I think that it will be, of course, their first, like first move when they hear about that. They might go and check for passive investment.
Yeah.
And then after, I really want to believe that if we will provide them with something apart from just buy and hold, buy this Amazon and forget, to something like, let's make a versus pair where we just put Amazon versus Alibaba. And the guy will think, oh, I'm more pro Amazon, so I will trade here against Alibaba or Temu if we're in Europe.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, things like that.
Yeah.
So there is always like, it just goes like, nearby. Every single situation you observe out there in your news feed can be tradable. Everything can be tradable. We just like, I will highlight it once again. We just came from Met Gala to trading.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. They just came up in my head. I'm like, I mean, it all to me, it all makes sense. You know?
This is that was like an idea behind like a major, raw idea behind the versus pairs. Like, how can we provide an individual with an ability to trade something which is around him,
Mm-hmm.
which is close to his, I don't know, beliefs or whatever. He likes either Tesla or Ford. He's an Android or iPhone guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Those are just like very basic rivalries.
Mm-hmm.
But then next, he's just like taking a tube back home after he is like 9 to 5, and he see, oh, some Pepsi advertising and commercials, like very cool one, and he wants to, oh, they will outperform Coke. The Coke, they're not doing it,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go and trade Pepsi vs Coke, things
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's also like a brand trust and your own what's the word? Like your own preferences, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't like Pepsi. I only drink, like if I'm drinking soda and I had to choose between the two,
Yeah.
I'm always going to pick Coke. So like naturally, if I was trading a versus pair that was Pepsi versus Coke, I'd be long Coke all the time, even though in terms of how the corporation is doing, you know what I mean? In terms of like,
Yes.
in terms of its performance, I don't know, but like from a personal preference standpoint, like a brand perception,
Yes.
brand preference, I'd be like Coke all day long, and again, that's just me, just psychologically, you know what I mean? I guess a lot of these young traders, we said they consume a lot of information very quickly, and I think we could all agree that they consume a lot of their information visually now. They don't necessarily like to read a lot. They like it to be very, very quick. Again, if we go back to TikTok and the whole concept of short videos on TikTok and then short videos on Instagram and elsewhere, I guess when you think about that, how much of that kind of went into your reasoning and development of like your mobile UX and the design behind
Mhm.
versus trade and your front ends and kind of your trading experience?
It basically affects us very much. We are trying to keep our UX UI very, uh, how to say, very slick,
Mm-hmm.
very minimal in a good way, but we provide also a look and feel of something closer to maybe social media vibe
Mm-hmm.
for the customers, for our clients. And we don't want to overload the UX UI, but we want to keep all the essence out there, within the smallest click. Or you see, click. And
Mm-hmm.
nobody clicks. Everyone is like tapping now.
Oh, is it? Is that what it is now? I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
What's the proper terminology?
Yes. There's no click, tap. So now it's tap. So I would say it applies us. It applies this very, very much. So we're trying to keep it sleek, mobile friendly. Even the colors we want to put out there, so it will be easier to read when you are, I don't know, under the bright sun on your phone or things like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is it something where kind of like you do some sort of A/B testing as well, sort of like constantly trying to improve, seeing user behavior, and things like that? Like you said, like colors. I mean, I know that matters. Colors, how big the button is, where it's placed,
Yeah. It,
in
it
terms
matters a
of
lot.
the
We do
usability.
tests. We do tests, and we are trying to. We do tests, and we're trying to listen to the audience. That we also like this, not just A/B tests, but like customer development.
Mm-hmm.
I personally can call some end users or some partners which bring the users, and I can ask them like, what do you think about this new design? What do you think about this new section which we have added?
Mm-hmm.
How cool is that? And sometimes they give an insights which we as a team, being, how to say, like on the other side of the show,
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
scene,
Uh-huh.
we would never see how it looks. Like it's like in theater, there
Mm-hmm.
is like two totally different point of views, how we see it, what's happening on the stage, how they see it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So sometimes the insights coming up from these talks, they're just like, like, wow, how we didn't think of that.
Mm-hmm. Is there major sort of differences or subtle differences between, let's say, your traders in, let's say, different regions with respect to the feedback that they give? Like maybe, I don't know, in one region, traders prefer one color scheme,
Oh yeah, very much.
hypothetically speaking, and then in a different region, they prefer something else because you can see it in terms of their behavior, but also from the feedback that they give you And how do you account for that? Do you basically build to front ends, and you know what I mean? And
Yeah, it's just
or you let them choose, like you could use this color scheme, that color scheme, etc.
the color scheme is it's like it's not hypothetical. It's like very very to the point
Mm-hmm.
because for example, we have pretty good presence in Malaysia,
Uh-huh.
which is in majority is a Muslim country.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I have to be very careful here. But
Sure.
one of their color of the shoes is green.
Mm-hmm.
That's very traditional Islamic color.
Uh-huh.
So you want to be very careful about how you use it.
Uh-huh.
You should be very careful about how basically you position, how and whom and which kind of images you want to position on your
Uh-huh.
advertising and things like that.
Yeah.
While for the very same time, we can run the same campaign or we can do the very same updates of the application towards Thailand,
Mm-hmm.
which they even have the border between themselves and Malaysia. So
Yeah, yeah.
they're like
Uh-huh.
closer countries. But I bet you to find two other countries which are so different
Sure, sure.
to their essence.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Imagine what you can see on the Bangkok streets. You will never see this on the Kuala Lumpur streets.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So here is the thing: when we want to do some updates, I'll always encourage the partnership people, and the cost development people. Go and speak with the partners. Go and speak with the business development managers from all of the countries where we are in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey guys, how you see if we do this? Is
Mm-hmm.
it okay? Is it going to offend somebody? Is it going to look silly, or is it going to whether the message which we believe we want to send is
Mm-hmm.
going to be the very message we're sending? It might
Mm-hmm.
be totally different story.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I
very
think,
important.
yeah, I think it's very, very important. You make a great point because, again, going back to the beginning of our discussion, what are different brokers in the industry doing
Mm.
in terms of, are they embracing these new generations of traders? Are they embracing different regions, sensitivities that people have within different regions? And I'm just like, from my own experience and things that I hear, let's say in the hallways of conferences, there's so many brokers out there that are just sort of blind to this, and
Mm.
or they don't care. I don't even know. You know what I mean? They're kind of like, this looks great. Let's launch it. Okay, great. Let's look at the performance. Okay, it looks okay. It looks good. Again, they're looking at the volumes,
Mhm.
which asset classes, how much volume, how many users, what's the churn rate, what's the retention rate, and things like that. But they don't think about colors, where the buttons are positioned. They just roll something out globally and they stick with it, and they don't even do any kind of analysis to kind of understand that. But then I've found time goes by, and then the numbers start to change.
Mhm.
And everyone, senior management starts to ask questions. What's going on? Why are we losing market share? Why are our volumes dropping? We're offering the same assets and asset classes that all the other brokers are. Our spreads and our pricing is very competitive. What's going on? And a lot of times nobody could really answer that
Mm.
question, and brokers just sort of get stuck.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, other brokers are kind of doing what they're doing, kind of staying ahead of the pack. And then you look at the longevity of brokers, and I look at a broker that's been around for 20 years and a broker that's been around for 3, 4, 5 years, and I see that the broker that's much younger is outperforming the old
Mhm.
school one. And it's like, there's something going on here.
Yeah, that's very true. Because when you offer the same product to Ireland and Indonesia, just because they start from the same letter or something,
Yeah.
it's
It's
no, not good.
in 2026, that's just not going to work,
Mm.
right? We talked about the trader psychology and sort of the internet culture and things like that, and we talked about versus pairs. So your actual asset classes. I guess, how else do you take what we know today, or what you know about trader psychology and sort of this fast-paced, immediate breaking news sort of internet culture and mentality? How do you use that further to basically develop your asset classes going forward? And I want to go back to the comment that you made in the very beginning. You said, when I asked you, when did you realize that there's going to be a new generation of traders, and you're like when the crypto thing happened and like coin market cap, and you're like you could see all these coins and all these cryptocurrencies that are
Mm-hmm.
constantly, so there's hundreds of charts
Yeah,
instead
yeah,
of
yeah.
maybe a few charts, right? That are constantly moving. How do you take all of these things that we know and develop sort of asset classes further? I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about 2030, 2035. In your opinion, what do you think is going to happen? Like the intertwining of those things, and what does versus trade need to do to kind of stay ahead, looking into the future?
Mm-hmm. Well, I would I would bring it somehow back to the versus pairs, because currently what we do, we provide the ability, the opportunity to trade with like global brands
Mm-hmm.
like Pepsi, Coke, or iPhone, towards some, I don't know, Samsung or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the next step is to go more regional wise. What we're thinking is to start, and it somehow correlates with what we just discussed before.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are brands which are local, like in India, there might be like Mahindra and Tata, things like that.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So this is what we want to do. We want to try to we want to go to those folks, because our main market, like we don't do business in Europe, we don't do business in States, and but we took those brands and we're giving those brands to the audience in the regions where we do business.
Mm-hmm.
So we're thinking, what if we took their own brands, and we will create some versus pairs based on it. This is like in more detailed, but in more general approach, I can say that trying to go even more tailored, and trying to go even more more custom towards the local people, towards the very market where you are, it could be the key. So if you are trading, I don't know, in Malaysia or in Indonesia, or your customers there in Thailand, try to think what could be interesting for them, not from the international perspective, but from the local
Mm-hmm.
perspective. Try to find some local brands, or try to find maybe some uh, some indices, or something based on what they do know, which correlates to their mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This so I believe the future of all those asset classes is into you know gentrification somehow. So we go smaller and smaller to, and we basically change from the global brands to something local
Uh-huh.
things.
It's like get more granular,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think is what you mean, right? To
yeah,
just
yeah.
kind of get really, really focused on
Mm-hmm.
what they're doing. And it's interesting that you mentioned India, because India is just a huge marketplace in terms of the sheer amount of people in India. And yes, we could say that, per capita income and things like that in that country are quite small as compared to saturated regions
Mm-hmm.
where our industry has been for years. But it seems to me that India, okay, Pakistan, Africa, LATAM, these are again are regions that are going to continue to grow, and they're going to continue to be nurtured
Mm.
by participants in our industry. You know what I mean? And I think that kind of it's a good segue into my next question with regards to trader education and like financial knowledge, right? Because again, those regions that I just mentioned, we could, I think, I hope you agree with me that we could say that in terms of financial literacy and financial education, on average in those populations is lower than it is in Europe, North America, probably even the Middle East,
There
maybe.
is room
Again,
for improvement. Yeah.
yeah, there's room for improvement, and I think if we couple that with the topic that we're covering today,
Mm-hmm.
the new generation of traders, they're not into reading long texts, right? They're into visuals, they're into short videos, a different format, basically.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think brokers need to adapt to that with respect to tying in education so that they actually understand not just like how to use your front end and your mobile interface,
Mm-hmm.
but actually understand what exactly they're doing, right? Because at the end of the day, you can market or you can do user acquisition to get that user. He'll come, he'll deposit $50, he'll trade that away in a day or two, and then that's it. He'll leave and he'll never come back. To you, I don't think that it makes sense to any broker. I mean, terms of cost per account, in terms of ROI and things like that, right? At the end of the day, you want them to be to have longevity and to be
Mm-hmm.
successful. So how do you do that? How do you educate these younger, newer generations in these regions where there's room for improvement, like you said, in terms of financial literacy, to kind of have it be a win-win, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There is definitely a big change in how brokers needs, if they want to sustain, how they need to provide the information, how they need to do the education and like knowledge transition towards the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Because back then, I keep on referring to good old times, right?
Yeah.
Back then, it was totally different. We were like reading books, and like nobody really wants to read the book of like Candlestick Analysis by Steve Neeson, which is like, like that thick. Or
But that's like the that's like the book
the
that we all
Bible, right?
that was the Bible. We all had to read that book,
Yeah,
didn't we?
no, but
Yeah.
that's come on.
But there's no way I'm gonna read if that was today. There was no way I'm gonna read that book.
Yeah, same like that. So, and I might sound like heretic now, but uh, there is not necessarily you need to spend like that much time. Trading is not quantum mechanics. It's not a quantum physics. You don't have to spend like 5 years by learning on that.
Yeah.
It can be digested much more faster.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially when the audience wants this information to be pre-digested, before you transition this to them.
Yeah.
So yeah, do go and make those maybe TikTok clips which are shorter, because you don't have to explain much about how moving average works.
Mhm.
There is the period of time of those periods on how many periods you want to count for the moving average.
Mhm.
And there's basically, if you add longer period and shorter period and they just start to cross, that's what it says. That's the signal either to buy and sell. It's
Mhm.
pretty much it.
Mhm.
What else you want to add?
Right.
And this
Right.
could be, you can post it in like 40 seconds. So, and the second thing, which is like very, very important, is I believe we start to have this from the startup world, the MVP approach. The faster you got the information and the faster you apply it, the better.
Yeah. Right.
Don't become a scholarist. Don't spend 3 years reading the books and then, okay, I might open my first demo account. Like, where are you gonna get? Like, how you expect to live 150 years or whatever?
Yeah.
Just go ahead, check yourself a few clips, no more than 15 minutes each, and then open an account, better be real, and try to apply your knowledge, apply yourself. So and this is what I want to say to all the brokers, because I've been doing the seminars back then in 2000, I don't know, 2010, 2009. I was doing the seminars, and the seminars was like, I don't know, like hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and people were listening. They were even making some notes.
I remember those days. Yeah.
Yeah. Now we should make it more faster and more enjoyable and more applicable. So we at Versus Trade, we've created Versus Academy. This is like a standalone project, a standalone website where clients, or you should not be our client, you could be just a random folk. You can go and check and get yourself some information. And we're trying to provide it in a more shorter way, in a more compact way, which is like, as I said, pre-digested, right? You can take it and you can use it straight. So my message to the fellows of the industry: let's forget all those big super books. Let's make it more. Keep it short. Keep it real. Keep it gangster.
Yeah, keep it gangster. Keep it short and simple, right?
Yes.
Yeah, basically, because that's what the younger generations want today: short and simple.
Yeah.
And understandable, basically. And I think again, we could tie that back into, and you can make it relatable too. If you want to go granular, you can make it even more relatable, right? Obviously, you got to translate a bunch of the stuff into different languages, obviously, for the regions that are key to you. But I think it's not difficult these days to be keen on what the cultural or historic sort of values are in all these countries, and you could tie that in together, again, being respectful and everything else.
Absolutely, yeah.
With respect to, like, okay, commodities, for example, right? Like a lot of these countries produce certain commodities. Okay, you can trade these commodities, and here's an understanding or explanation of how this even happens. You know
You
what
don't
I
have
mean?
to be a biologist to trade coffee.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. For example, right? Or like, you know, your uncle has like a corn farm or something
yeah,
like that,
yeah.
or a wheat farm. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's hard labor, but at the same time, he sells that wheat, right? Like for what price? And how does that all even work? And wait, I could actually make an investment or make money off of this in
Yeah,
terms of
yeah,
trading, or help my uncle, for example, hedge his risks, right? In terms of like what's gonna be the price of wheat in 3 months when the harvest comes and he has to sell it on the market, right? I
street
mean,
price or
or you know what I mean? Like things like that. Going back to Wall Street, the movie, and or what was it? Not Wall Street. The one with the other.
Wolf of Wall Street.
No, the old school movie with Eddie Murphy. Trading Places. There we go. The
Oh,
price of
that's a
orange
good
juice. The price of
pork belly. They were
pork belly.
trading.
Remember that movie? That was a good
Yeah,
one. That
when they
was a
were
good one.
sitting in this old school limo car, like
Yep.
wait, now buy.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Yes, yeah,
Yep.
that was a
Yep.
cool movie.
I guess if we also look ahead, what do you think traders themselves are going to look for more and more in brokers
Mhm.
when they're out there choosing? Again, the industry is so saturated
Yeah.
with global players who basically brands that are almost in every sort of geography out there, and then there's more sort of niche regional
Mhm.
players. What do you think these younger generations going forward, what are they going to look for more and more, and when they actually are deciding who to choose? Because I feel like there's so many choices, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? In terms of who do you actually trade with?
I like the very few words that you said. Who do you actually trade with?
Right.
So this is the answer. It's the product. The product per se is pretty much good or near to perfect from all of us.
Mm-hmm.
You can get yourself a decent execution, a decent price, and no
Mm-hmm.
problem with like
Mm-hmm.
much of the brokers. And then the question is, who do you trade with? So I believe that the younger generation, their request is for a lifestyle. They want to have a broker which they can say to their friends or folks for their niche, for the lookalike auditory.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trading with these guys,
Mm-hmm.
and again, the crypto folks, they feel it much better than us.
Mm-hmm.
If you go and check the OKX, the very cool crypto platform,
Uh-huh.
the exchange, they're selling a lifestyle. They're
Mm-hmm.
selling a bunch of merchandise, and the tone of their brand it goes with a line. You can check it from every piece of or from every customer interaction with this brand.
Mm-hmm.
Like the platform looks like this, and then you go to the portal, it's the same. Or you want to get yourself a report and it's very well branded, and it gives the message like, if you trade with us, you are this.
Mm-hmm.
This is the thing which big brands are doing, like Coca-Cola or iPhone. Like Coca-Cola, they're not selling soda anymore. They're selling a long time ago. They're selling cool people drink Coke. You want to
Yeah.
be a cool people drink
Mm-hmm.
Coke,
Mm-hmm.
regardless the taste. Like, who cares about that?
Mm-hmm.
And same here with the brokerage. The younger people, they want to feel cool because they trade with this specific broker.
Mm-hmm.
So, and so far, I believe very few of the brokers feel it, and they're, going towards that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's an interview, right? It's not something I can drop names here,
You can
can
drop
I?
any name you want.
Oh, lovely.
We can cut it out later if we need to.
So let's look at the XNES, right?
Uh-huh.
The XNES, where with their not so recent the change of branding, they changed the branding and they starts to feel more of how to say a bit more not adult, but more, how to say, more grown up.
Mm-hmm.
So they most probably they mentioned they have looked that their audience is also getting more older, so they want to be associated with something more calmish rather than the colors which XNES was giving before.
Okay.
So they're selling the idea of, I'm trading with this broker. So the brokers now, they have to sell a lifestyle. This new people, this new generation, they want to feel cool just because they trade with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you have to do. Because let's be realistic. There is not that much you can improve in the product wise. The spreads are already like nothing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The withdrawal time requested by market is counted in minutes anymore.
Mm-hmm.
No, the leverage are very high. Like room for improvement, there is little
Right,
to no.
right.
What you can still improve is the look and feel. Like the Revolut. At some point, you mentioned the Revolut.
Yeah,
Check their commercials around the airports or all over the globe.
yeah.
They're not selling service. They're selling happy faces.
Mm-hmm.
Happy people use Revolut. You want to be happy? Try us.
Mm-hmm. And it's easy to. I use Revolut. It's easy to use. It's got a ton
Yeah.
of things in it. A previous guest of mine on the show. We talked about super apps, and I was like, it's ease of use for me. You know what I mean? If it's all in one place, I'm all for it. In terms of like antitrust laws and all that, I'm not a lawyer. I don't really care. If it's all in one place and it's easy for me to use, I'll use it, right? If I want something very specific that it doesn't have, sure. But in terms of like banking and things like that, and investing, and again, ease of use with exchanging currencies, not just investing in them and trading them. I think that that's super cool. Sorry, but I think I'm, going off on a tangent here. I think you mentioned something really important with lifestyle, and I feel like we talked a lot about branding, and we mentioned a lot of brands here today. And I agree with you because also one of my previous guests, we talked about, it's a separate topic, like sponsorships and things like that, and partnerships with sports teams, Formula One, auto racing, these kind of things. It seems like for certain broker brands, it's actually paying off because they found that they see that there's certain young people, young potential clients or traders, they already have a connection to a particular sport, a particular brand, right? If it's within auto racing, a particular car maker,
It's very popular in Southeast Asia, though.
automaker, right? And so they will flock to that, right? So like for example, if let's say my Forex brand sponsors McLaren, right? And there's, because I think McLaren is doing really well, or they won the championship last year, right, in Formula One. So if I'm a McLaren fan and there's a Forex broker, let's say, that partnered with McLaren F1 team, I'm obviously going to naturally see advertising. I'm going to see content. At some point, I'm going to be like, oh, what's that? Oh, wait. Oh, I can trade. Oh, Netflix. Oh,
wait for
Coca-Cola. Oh,
the very broker, if you will make 300 lots, they will offer you a ticket.
To go to the race.
Of course.
Which again,
to McLaren race.
Yeah, but that builds even more trust, right? I mean, look, I won something. That's cool. I'm gonna go enjoy myself. I'm probably going to stay connected to these brands, you know. So I think that's very important. I think it's something that we can't predict. I think the sky is the limit there. I think at some point maybe big broker brands, they might partner up with God knows how many lifestyle brands.
Yeah,
could be clothing, could be anything.
Groceries,
you name it. I mean, it could be anything, really, right? I mean, at the end of the day,
it was at one point like we've seen it. I don't know, in fashion or somewhere where I don't know, like you could get yourself some super cool hoodie or a T-shirt with some, funny thing like Balenciaga. They put some soda water on it, and like what is this? It's just they're trying to cross the audience. That's what we're trying to do. And here with us, that was one of the idea, honestly, which was behind the versus pairs. You see, I keep on going there.
Yeah.
And it's just because we want to, we do believe, as you mentioned, the McLaren fan will go and check the McLaren. Maybe if we provide the guy with an idea of seeing the versus pair where one of the pairs would be his brand of choice, he will definitely go and check it.
Yeah.
And if the opposite will be the rivalry, the traditional rivalry of this brand of choice, he will definitely check it.
Right.
It's like a derby, you know?
Yeah. I mean, again, it's the same as watching sports. You're watching the two teams compete. One of them is your favorite. The other one you hate, for example, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and then you could go on a trading platform and be like, or I'm rooting for my brand. I'm going to go trade that brand essentially by opening up positions. Yeah, all of this is very, very cool. We got to sit down in like a year or two and see what's been going on. I'm sure that things are going to
Oh
change and
yeah,
there's going to be new stuff going on. Maybe versus trade will have some partnerships that we can talk about at that point, or something
will
like
be
that.
cool.
I guess last and final question. We've talked about a lot of good things today in terms of what versus trade is doing, what's going on in the
Last
industry.
question. Wow, time flies.
Yep. I guess the last question that I have, what do you think that today's brokers still misunderstand about these modern traders that we've been talking about today? I mean, I think I mentioned a few points,
Yeah,
sort of like the internal workings of some brokerages and kind of how they're stuck in this sort of traditional brokerage world,
yes.
and I see that sometimes, or today it's biting them in the ass, so to say. But I think outside of that, what do you think other brokerages are still sort of misunderstanding about this new generation?
I would say it's somehow related to the previous question. Uh, there is a few points. The first one is like the modern brokerages. They believe that the the very form of the interaction between themselves and the traders is just pure trading.
Mm-hmm.
They sometimes they forget about the like if your client portal looks cool, and when the guy will be streaming the trading and
Mm-hmm.
he will enter this portal and the viewers they will see it, they will say to themselves, oh, that looks really nice, that's sleek and modern, and
Mm-hmm.
like I want to use that.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the first thing, it's not just about how thin is your spread, it's about how cool is to use your platform.
Yeah.
This is one of the things.
Uh-huh.
And the second things, I do believe that sometimes modern brokers, they they feel that, okay, we are going to provide the clients with this variety of services, and if they request more, which is out of our picture of the world, we will just try to tell them, oh, you don't need it, or something like that. Or
Uh-huh.
like they're trying to go and school the market, while you if you do this, you will be schooled by market.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If we go to the very, how to say, to the very point, is the crypto guys, they're doing it much faster. They can create, I don't know, like perpetual contracts on whatever. We don't I know it's similar to CFD, but their flexibility, this is something with what I believe modern day brokers needs to have towards the clients. If the clients want to trade more and want to trade more actively,
Uh-huh.
we should go and provide them with a field where they can trade more and they can trade more actively.
Yeah.
Don't tell them like, oh, the high volatility is not so good because of this, because of that. They want to trade, just give them the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So don't try to school the clients. And we at Versus Trade, we try to provide them with instruments where they can trade on a higher volatility, trade on a higher level of fun. And this is something I wish everyone would start doing, so the industry became more cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and less rigid and kind of cut and dry, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've give pretty bad times to the industry during this talk.
Well, no, or maybe but I'm not gonna say that we're bitter, but we've been in the industry for so long,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
but it is
We
progressing,
have a
and
right.
we have a right to. But at the same time, I think what our audience should get out of today's conversation ultimately is that our industry is progressing. It's not standing still. It's embracing. Many companies, including Versus Trade, are embracing what's going on with modern traders, the younger generation, and we're all looking to the future because either way, it's all going to be really cool, really hip,
Mm.
fast paced. You know what I mean? And things like that. We all just have to keep up, I think, at the end of the day, which we will. I mean,
Keep it up.
yep, yep. So Vitaly, thanks for coming and joining me today. I think we had a very cool, insightful discussion.
Thanks for having me, Nikolai.
Lots of brand mentions, lots of clickbait. We wish you and Versus Trade lots of luck in the near future, and we'll be sure to see you soon and speak more.
Appreciate. Thank you for having me. I wish all the success to you, to your podcast, to the interview we're doing, and to the platform, FinanceFeeds. Always happy to join.
Thank you. Cheers.